All right, here we go. We have made it to the main event of WWE Super Showdown 2018, The Undertaker versus Triple H. The end of an era, part 2, the final be-all, say-all, the last match between these two until next month. Or until later in the month, I apologize, when there's a tag team match between The Undertaker and Kane going up against Triple H and Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker has called upon his brother to be in his corner to try and even the odds as Triple H is bringing his friend Shawn Michaels along for the ride. It looks like we're going to be seeing a reunion of sorts of the Brothers of Destruction as well as D-Generation X. I, for one, am really glad that The Undertaker versus Triple H is going to be the main event of the Super Showdown in Australia, for the one reason that I was really hoping that this was going to be a real match. Everyone can look back at the world's greatest Royal Rumble card. It was a good... it was a fun show, I guess you could say. It took place in the middle of the day, a time that we're not supposed to be watching wrestling. We were watching something that it sort of felt like we weren't supposed to be watching. It was just supposed to be sort of like a house show for Saudi Arabia. And that's sort of the feel that I get about the Super Showdown, is that they want to go to Australia, they want to put on a big show. Well, we got a network, let's just put it on TV. But when I look at that Undertaker versus Rusev casket match, I look at that John Cena versus Triple H match, both of them weren't that good. I mean, they were both, were matches that you would think that you would see if WWE came to my neck of the woods, if I went to go see him in Stockton, at the Stockton Civic Center or something like that. Or maybe if I got lucky, I went and saw, this match at the Arco Arena back in the day, or I guess they run house shows at Golden One, even though it's a really nice place. Whatever it is, that when they're in our town. The Undertaker versus Triple H, two of the biggest names that there's ever been in the history of wrestling. The Undertaker's got to be close to the point where he's packing it in. It looks like he's, doing the world's greatest Royal Rumble. He's doing... there's rumors that he might work Survivor Series. It reminds me to a couple of years ago when Undertaker came back in the middle of the year, was working those series of matches against Brock Lesnar. I know that the Undertaker's made a lot of money in his career. He's been one of the main guys in WWE, but everybody wants to pack on a few more zeros onto that bank account before they really ride off into the sunset. Undertaker's the guy that they've always really taken care of. They let him wrestle as much or as little as he feels like, and sometimes it's just he only wrestles at WrestleMania. Sometimes he comes back for big shows or house shows that they need him at. I think that we gotta be getting to the point of this is it for The Undertaker. We've seen him lose at WrestleMania 30. We thought that was it. We saw him come back after that. We saw him lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. We saw, him basically his soul eaten by Bray Wyatt. This guy has seen it all, to where every time we thought this is the last time we're going to see The Undertaker, and he keeps coming back out there. He is the dead man, but some match out there has to be his last match. If the match isn't going to be against Triple H, who is that match going to be against? Because I got no clue. I had a thought a few years ago where maybe Undertaker and Kane would have their retirement matches against each other, but at this point, we haven't really seen any heat between the Brothers of Destruction, between Undertaker and Kane. Maybe something will come out of these singles matches, these tag matches that are supposed to come up down the road, and we can build toward that. Maybe Undertaker and Kane both just spontaneously combust into the ring and just fall into the urn, and they trap him up, and that's all she wrote for that storyline. It's one of the only true storylines that WWE has written for two characters, where a character who's been around for a while because has a brother, and that brother has hatred for them killing their father. Or maybe it was killing their mother and their father. I don't really remember. But they even wrote a WWE novel about Kane that few people read or few people have seen. But there is a backstory to all of this. Triple H and Taker, two of the biggest names in the business. We thought that we had everything that these guys can do. They had one of the best WrestleMania matches that I can honestly say that I've ever seen, let alone one of, I think, the best WrestleMania matches that have ever been at WrestleMania 27. WrestleMania 28 was a different style of match inside of the Hell in the Cell. They told a great story where it looked like the master plan was going to be that they found a way to end the streak of The Undertaker. But even with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee, Triple H was not able to make it happen. And as you can remember, the end of that match was just basically Triple H saying, "I can't beat you," and just put me out of my misery with Tombstone. So, a lot of people are thinking that The Undertaker is going to win this match. I believe at one point they took a toll of the WWE Universe, and it was 89% of the votes for Undertaker, only 11 for Triple H. I think that if they're going to be coming back with a tag match, definitely, I would guess the heel, Triple H, has to get the victory, but Triple H has Shawn Michaels with him, so how is Shawn Michaels going to be playing the heel? So I don't know what to expect out of this. I hope Triple H wins because I've always been a fan of Triple H. He's one of my favorite guys there is. So I think that's where I'm going to stand. Triple H for the win. Hopefully this is going to be a good show. It's got some good matches. It's got some good things that could happen. Definitely a fun title change somewhere along the way. Could get people talking to where people remember about this, but I think a lot of this is just going to be sort of setting up for what's going to happen for WWE, either with the girls' matches at Evolution or with the next pay-per-view being WWE's Crown Jewel from Saudi Arabia.